guys, welcome back. Today we're doing a back to school video, which is kind of a little weird because my kids have already started going back to school. I feel like this just sums up this entire school year. Disorganized and just, it doesn't have anything together at all. And that's how I felt. I wasn't even sure if we were going to send them back to school or homeschool them. They really wanted to go back, so we're doing it on a trial basis. I didn't find out who their teacher was, what bus they were on, what time the school was even starting, because the start times vary from year to year, what time the bus was picking them up, until the day before. So I don't feel bad for not being organized, because apparently no one's organized this year. So if you're like me and you're feeling a little bit behind, maybe your kids started last week or last month, it's okay. We have time to catch up, and I'm going to share some easy things that we do to make day-to-day school life a lot more organized. First thing I want to talk about is Izzy's new online learning desk area. So Izzy goes to high school every other day, and even the days that she goes, it's only a few hours, and then she does 2 hours home learning. So most of the time she's doing online learning, and we didn't want her doing it in her bedroom because she spends enough time. She's a teenager. She spends enough time in her bedroom, and we didn't want her to be really distracted by all the cool stuff in her room. And it also, you're so much more productive when you go somewhere to work, right? Whether it's an office or something like that. But my office has me and Alicia, my assistant, working in there every day. Joe also works from home, and he works at the kitchen table. And so we thought she would be at the kitchen table with Joe. Except the day before she started, she had a slight breakdown and told us basically her going to school with Joe sitting beside her would make her feel like she was going to school with her dad. And it was kind of embarrassing to do live online school with her whole class, right? Like a giant Zoom call with her dad. So we opted to get a new desk and put it in our family room. Our family room is really only used for family movie nights and to house our bearded dragon, Daenerys Targaryen. Nothing else really goes on in this space. We really don't use it, so it's really quiet and private for her. We do have toys in here, we have some books, but I'm gonna rearrange everything to make room for a new desk. I found a desk for $60 on Kijiji, which is like Canadian Craigslist, and I decided to quickly chalk paint it and refinish the top. This is so easy to do. A lot of you guys might be intimidated to refinish old furniture, but it's something you can do in one day. I started by lightly sanding the top because even though this is a beautiful color, I definitely wanted it to be a darker, richer color so it matched the space a little bit more. So I gave it a light sand, and then I'm going over it with gel stain. I love this General Finishes gel stain in Java. You know I'm addicted to it. I've done every door, every window, all the trim, the kitchen, the banister, the stairs. The bottom of the desk I decided to chalk paint. I love chalk paint because you don't have to sand, you don't have to prep anything, you just slap it on. It always looks fantastic. You cannot mess this up. I'm going with Annie Sloan's Chicago Gray. I'm only putting on 2 coats. There is no smell. It doesn't drip. It's just the best paint in the whole world. And again, no prep work. So that's fantastic. And after it dried, I slightly de-stressed it. I used some sandpaper just to drag it along the edges so that you can see a bit of that dark stain poking through. And then I finish it with a clear wax just to seal everything in and protect everything. And that's it. I'm loving the beautiful desk. I'm done rearranging everything in this space. I did make a giant mess, but I moved the toys over into the corner, and then we purged a bunch, but then I had this big space for the desk, so we carried it in, we got a new chair, and now Izzy has a really private, but really grown-up home workstation. Milo and Abby have to wear masks all day long, so I really wanted to give them something to hold the clean masks, a place to put the dirty masks, hand sanitizer, wipes for their desk in one compact place. So I found some dollar store pencil cases, and I really thought that was the perfect spot to put all of those things. I also decided to label their masks just using Mabel's labels. I love Mabel's labels. They are washable, they're like so durable, you get a ton of them for a great price. I use them to label shoes and clothing and backpacks and lunch pails, and now the inside of masks. It's really soft, so they're not going to chafe their skin, and that way they can always keep track of which ones are theirs. Hopefully they're never taking them off, but Milo's in grade 3, so I mean, you know what I'm saying? I think one of the most important things to do to get organized for back to school, even if your kids have already started school, now is the time of year to go through your kids' closet and pull out anything that doesn't fit them or that they don't wear and just get it out so that their closets are way more organized and it's really easy to find things. I was shocked by how many clothes Milo had outgrown. He had a huge growth spurt. He was in 5'6", now he's definitely in 7'8", and so I would say 70% of his closet didn't even fit him. I pulled everything out, I made a huge pile, and I decided to take photos of it and sell it as a lot. I really recommend you do this too when you have a bunch of clothing. You lay everything out, you take photos, and you sell it in Facebook Marketplace as a lot. I've done this for my own clothing too that I outgrew. I do it to the girls' clothing all the time. It's a great way to make some money. You don't have to deal with like individual people coming to your home. So I sold all of Milo's clothes for over $100, and it only took one day, actually a few hours, to find someone who was happy to buy it. Now that his closet is thinned out and has so much space, I'm actually going to remove the costumes in this middle section and use that to organize outfits by the day. So it has socks and underwear and shirts and sweaters, pants, everything he needs for quickly getting ready in the morning when he's tired and groggy. I really love these hanging organizers to do this for kids, and I sold all of the costumes that he had outgrown because Halloween is coming up. I sold those again in just a few hours, and we made an additional $60. So take some time this fall to go through your kids' closet, pull out anything that doesn't fit them, and try selling it on Facebook Marketplace. I took a few minutes just to organize their backpack stations. We have these little cabinets that I got from Canadian Tire. They were only $60 each a couple of years ago, and I'm using them as lockers, I guess, for the kids, a place to stash their backpack and their lunch pails and their extra shoes so they can not have it on the kitchen floor or just drop it when they come in. Where do you put your kids' lunch pails? Let me know in the comments below. This was a huge clutter problem with 3 kids for me for quite a while, but these little homemade lockers, I guess, it really solves that problem. So I took a few minutes to do that, set up a little backpack station, organize it. I also have this hanging organizer in this space where they can have extra school supplies. They store their extra paper in here. They have a spot for their extra masks and hand sanitizer. It has spots for their library books and the school newsletters right here by their backpacks. Last but not least, let's talk about school memory papers. I have 3 kids. It's a lot of paper, and I'm gonna be totally honest with you, I don't sort it when they come home and they bring all their treasures. I dump it all into this one basket that I have here over where their backpacks are. They hand it to me and I toss it in there. Report cards, school photos. Artwork, I don't sort any of it. I throw it all in a bin, and then before back to school again, that's when I go through that bin and I sort things that I love, that I'm like, I'm gonna keep this forever, into their little school memory bins. These are just accordion file folders that I got from Walmart a few years ago, and I just divided them by year. So they have one for junior kindergarten, senior kindergarten, all the way up to grade 12. And so when I'm sorting, because it isn't fresh, I mean, it's a year's worth of paper, I can really make those tough decisions a lot easier about what can stay and what can go. And I preserve all of those memories. I have an empty bin, fresh, for the new school year. It's pretty insane how much paper kids bring home. This is 1 year's worth of school papers for 3 kids. It's an absolute mountain, but I am really glad that I just dump it all in a basket all year long and only have to sort it one time. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're feeling inspired if you're like me and you definitely waited to the last minute to get organized for this year's school year. I feel you. And even if you are homeschooling or doing online learning, hopefully you found a few tips that you can use too. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Hey guys, thanks so much for those of you who have stayed to the end. I just want to talk real talk, and hopefully I'm not triggering any of you, but I want to talk about something that's really emotional and upsetting for me right now, and that is mom guilt and mom shame about back to school. And I used to feel a lot of mom guilt and mom shame about breastfeeding, and then I felt it about circumcision, and there was like, but it's been a while since I felt the same judging and just the guilt and the shame that I'm feeling right now about deciding to send my kids back to school. And I've actually talked to other parents who've decided to do online or homeschooling or online school, and they're feeling guilt and shame too. And it's so, we're all just like, this is crazy times, right? This is just terrifying, scary times, and I don't think there really is a right answer. I spent weeks this summer just fretting over whether to send them back or not. I really wanted them to stay home. Joe really wanted them to go back. And we talked to the kids and they begged to go back. And our numbers here in Canada are really low. They have to do social distancing at school. They have to wear masks. And so we decided that they could go back on a trial basis as long as the numbers stay really low. But I've had so many people, strangers, family members, friends, say little snide comments. The ones who are keeping their kids home have said things like, I'm not risking my kid's life just because I'm tired of having them around. Like that's what I'm doing. Like I'm sick of having them home, so I'm sending them to school. Or they just keep saying like it's not worth the risk to my children. Or I had one family member say to me, you're home. Why are you risking your children's lives where you're home all day? I can see the parents who have no choice, but you have a choice and you're still sending your kids. And how does that help anyone? How does that hurtful, horrible, I have cried over this so for weeks, just I'm so stressed and emotional about it. And how is shaming each other and making each other feel guilty helpful at all? My reasons of why I'm sending my kids back are because I really think social interaction is good for them. They want to go back so badly. I work full-time from home. It was really difficult to teach them, to help them with online school and work full-time at the same time. Joe lost his job during COVID. He's trying to start something new and working full-time too. And so it's just a very crazy time. I'm filming, I have an assistant here all day, but more than that, the kids wanted to go back. They're begging to go back. They're missing their friends. They're missing the structure. They're missing that learning environment that they learn so much better in. But the truth is, why do I have to justify why they're going back? Why do I have to explain to people? Why do I feel like I have to explain to people my reasoning? And why are we shaming either way, right? Moms and dads who decide to do homeschool or online learning, they're feeling guilt and shame too. And mom and dads who are sending their kids back are feeling guilt and shame too. Why are we? You're better. This is better. Why are we doing this? This is a really terrifying time for all of us. We all love our children so much. We should be supportive to each other and kind and building each other up, not tearing each other down. I guess I wanted to share this with you and just remind all of us to be kind to each other. Even if we don't agree with others' decisions, we should never shame each other. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.